Yes.
Giving notice that following the staff's presentation and answering of questions, which obviously will probably conclude after the Freedom of the City Awards, as we need to leave here at 5 to 12 to go downstairs, I will be moving the staff recommendation as per page 30. I also foreshadow that if that is carried, I will then move a motion to entertain who are the councillors that should sit on this working group. That will be a separate issue if the first motion is carried. I give that notice of intention.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, we'll take the item as read, but is there anything that you would like to add, either of you?
Oh, just a brief summary, Your Worship. I think that report speaks for itself. Basically, a bit of an update on where we're at with the project, so that everyone, everyone's got clarity on that. Essentially, there's been a number of briefings as well. Staff have got to a point where we've informed councillors of some of the complexities of delivering some of these projects and some of the challenges as well as opportunities like the Provincial Growth Fund. We've got to a stage where we believe it's necessary to re-establish that task force so that we have elected members giving direction around. You can see there's some sums of money left from various budgets, but we feel that we need some direction. We found the task force previously worked very well around that, and that's the reason why we've put the recommendation forward for a task force, so that it can be reasonably nimble and flexible with elected member input. And if we need a particular decision from council, we can come back reasonably quickly after those task forces, especially with our briefing schedules are very full next year. So we thought this would be a more agile way of working moving forward. So I'll leave it there. Happy to answer any questions. I just need to warn you, I know this item will probably go past the break. Natasha's got, she may not be here at 2 o'clock. She's got some important meetings this afternoon. So if you've got technical questions that I won't be able to cover, maybe ask those of Natasha before the break. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm just going to take questions only for Natasha at this stage, because we've only got 10 minutes left, and directed purely at Natasha. If there's more broader questions that Lance can answer, we'll come back to you. So Natasha directed questions that only Natasha could answer. So questions that if Natasha's gone after lunch, you would need Natasha for those questions only, please. So Councillor Angela. Sorry, Councillor Angela.
Thank you. What the last time that this was reported, and when the task force was closed, the last time that this was reported, it was any further work was deferred until we knew the outcome of the detailed design of Momentum. So do we have that now, and is that the reason why we need a task force set up?
There was a subsequent resolution which just deferred it. Because there's insufficient funding, and we needed to work out what we're going to do from there. The task force is required not purely for that reason, but because there are a number of other things that need to be considered. They all are interconnected, and I'm just finding it a bit difficult to put that to briefings with the layers of technicalities and complexities.
But the task force was disestablished because it had done its job, which was to direct the
annual plan.
The annual plan funding.
Correct.
So
Yes.
is this money past the annual plan? Well, I know you're indicating in the report that you'd like to grab the 750,000 that was the remaining from the purchase of the buildings.
I would like there to be a decision on it, on what it is, whether it is used or not, but there are other factors as well. As I mentioned in that briefing, there are some opportunities that if we do not take them up now will be gone, but we don't necessarily have sufficient funding for that anyway. So we do need to have some in-depth conversations about the right way to go about those.
So the staff recommendation that you've put forward doesn't say that you want this council, because a working group can't allocate money.
Correct. It would have to come back to council with the decision.
Okay. So what you're wanting is to set up a task force for them to talk about some of the projects that are there and for them to recommend back to council that yes, 750,000 and we want to spend it on this. And that's the only job of the task force going forward?
I would like to have task force available for other issues that arise. For example, when there are funding applications that we could make, it would be good to be able to provide advice on which particular projects we might want to include in that, and other opportunities that arise. The river plan says that we will work with the community and the business community to try and get these outcomes, and there are things that are happening that we could be influencing. We just need to make sure that we're doing it in the right way, that's in line with.
Yep, and are you any further ahead in understanding what, where the detail for the theatre is?
Well, yes, the detail for the design has moved forward, correct.
Okay, and just since it's in this report, on page 36, I'm electronics, I'm not sure what that is, under the river plan projects update, Hayes Paddock, Wellington Street Beach concept plan developed. That concept plan's never been presented to council. Will that be presented to the task force as well?
It can be, yes.
So you're wanting the task force to have oversight of the actual Hamilton City River Plan as well as the things from the annual plan that the previous group did?
Correct, I think it should cover the entire river plan.
Okay, I have further questions, Mr Mayor, but not of Natasha.
Okay, so this is specific to Natasha only, that only Natasha could answer, because we haven't got a lot of time left, and if the General Manager could answer the questions, I'd rather you held the questions for that. Councillor Paula.
Thank you. In respect to the bullet point 5, number 5, the first bullet point, about the feasibility of the upper level boardwalk, I just wanted to know, what does that mean? Does that mean the original proposal in front of those riverside apartments, or something new, or now that we've purchased the those buildings?
The first, it is the upper promenade that goes from Victoria on the River through to the theatre site, effectively.
Because you might be aware, or some maybe aware, there was an email last night, because when the agenda came out, it was the first time that those riverside apartments were aware that this was being discussed at council today. Have you spoken with them? Because we undertook to keep them in the loop.
Yeah, no, I haven't, because I don't believe that what we're discussing today changes the situation for them in terms of the information that they have. The existence of a task force is that what is mentioned here they are aware of, but the existence of a task force is not a new piece. Well, it's not a piece of information that I viewed would change.
They might not be entirely
new in this report.
No, it was just the way it was stated around the feasibility of the connection. I hadn't seen it expressed like that before myself. So.
Okay, that was in the last briefing. That was the intention.
Councillor Mark.
Thank you. I'm
Just
asking
Natasha only, please.
Yeah, I hope I'm asking the right person. This just regards the themes, one of them being natural environment, and my little hobby horse of protecting the river.
Yes.
Is this something that could be included in the task force by broadening it out a little bit, the preemptive protection of the river, rather than just the nice stuff we put on it?
It's certainly in line with the themes of the river plan. So, when we're looking at whether a project is a river plan project or not, in my mind, a lot of the time it is around, does it fit with those themes?
Right.
So, and there are a lot of projects that we do that fit in with that, but aren't necessarily funded through a river plan titled budget.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to establish, and I'll ask Lance later. Actually, it's no disrespect.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Councillor Gary and Natasha only, please.
Thank you. Just going back to Paul's question, the feasibility reasons, they were, from memory, the issue with the apartments, something to do with the height of the theatre and stuff, is that right?
The critical issue is the getting through Embassy Park to construct it. We now need to be able to do that once the theatre is completed.
What do you mean getting through Embassy Park?
Because
getting access through there, because there's
correct,
things in the way.
yes. In order to construct a boardwalk through that area, we would need to access it, and the engineering advice that we've had is
that means.
get the equipment.
Access. Oh, access. I thought you said asset. Sorry.
Sorry, access it. Yeah, get the equipment and the machinery through that site. And we
Okay.
would like to do that, well, the logical thing is to do that before the theatre's opening onto that same site.
So I thought there was some issue about the level, the levels of the boardwalk versus the level of the theatre,
Correct, yes.
and that has been resolved.
Well, we have a design that connects to that level, yes.
Okay, thank you. So page 33.
Sorry, I should say, actually, we're half a metre off. The design we had was at a different height, but they then advised us it had changed, so we would need to go back and tweak it. But it's feasible.
Okay, thank you. On page 33, paragraph 16, second bullet point, talks about a river plan pedestrian bridge connecting Ferry Bank to the river's east bank. Just, I know what's colloquially called the Ferry Bank area.
Correct.
Now, that is very close to Anzac Bridge, isn't it?
It is quite close.
So you've got Anzac Bridge, which has a pedestrian part of it.
Yes,
Not the greatest pedestrian part of it, but it's...
yeah. It also, I mean, the bridge that, while it's called pedestrian bridge, it does actually have a cycle function as well, and
Yep.
that's not well served by the existing bridges that we have at this time.
Okay, so have we considered just retrofitting Anzac?
That is, I'm aware that we were looking at options to do those things. Yes.
Because I assume that would be a heck of a lot cheaper and less consenting issues, engineering issues, than building a brand new bridge.
That sort
So
of, that
just-
sort of
excuse me,
consideration.
Just can I just say that this discussion today is about talking about setting up a task force,
Yep.
not getting into the feasibility of each item and each part of the project. That's what the
How come these things are in the
river
report?
plan task force is being put together specifically for, to then come back to council with recommendations. So I don't want to get into discussing what and what order and how and when. Today is about setting up a task force to then address these things. So I just so the questions are, yep, the questions are about setting up the task force. If you could direct those to Natasha before we have to go in a couple of minutes' time, Gary.
Okay, all right, and this may, I think this is a task force issue. I've been very concerned about there's a whole lot of people already using the river, rowing, wakaama, all those sort of guys. They seem to get minimal, what do you call it? No one talks to them. And this is me asking them. I
Yeah.
go down there, and just so happen I've got a boy who rows, so I'm asking them, like, are our people talking to you? And because they have got issues with the jetty that's going out there, and they are concerned about how far out it goes, and it may be able to be done properly, without affecting them or not.
We met with them regarding the jetty, and one of the things that we have
Who
agreed.
was them? Who did you?
So we met
Sorry, not
with-
particularly the persons, the organisations.
We contact a lot of organisations, but the organisations that are relevant to what you were just mentioning there that we met with would be the Waikato Rowing Club and the Hamilton Rowing Club. We agreed, and it's in our resource consent for the jetty, that we would set up a river users forum so that it is easier for council to engage with them, and also easier for us to manage the use of that river, because that is something that would definitely benefit the area.
Okay, Gary, I'm going
thank
to
you.
have to stop you there. Last question, Councillor Ryan.
Just quickly, have you had visibility to the email from Helen Jarman that came through to us last night?
No.
Okay, I'll forward that to you because that's
Thank you.
relating to this.
I think the Chief Executive's got that to take care of. It could be an official information request, so I just don't know how the Chief Executive's going to handle that.
Executive doesn't know how he's going to handle it either.
Yeah, but anyway, that's where it's sitting, so just so members understand that it is with the Chief Executive. Okay, we'll break now until 2 o'clock. There is a function downstairs and everybody's welcome for Freedom of the City, so